Standing in front of a bath filled with ice or in front of a cold shower usually scares the shit out of people. With every fiber of your body you know that the cold is painful, uncomfortable and a torture for mind and body. So fear builds up in us like an invisible shield and locks our body and freezes our mind. It's by overcoming this fear by an act of courage that we grow personally. Just look at our favorite stories. Usually we can relate with those characters the most that need to overcome their weaknesses before they become the hero. It's inspirational because we can identify with them. Self-confidence, on the other hand, can be misleading. Courage is the driver for change and transformational growth, while confidence is the outcome of doing something repeatedly. And we are also drawn to confidence and sometimes intimidated as well, because we think that confident people are very good at their skill, but when in fact they probably weren't when they started. Maybe you remember a situation where you needed a lot of courage to do something that was very easy for someone else. I see that a lot when I teach movements to kids. One kid may overcome his fears and have the courage to kick up into a freestanding handstand without the safety of a wall. Suddenly another kid downplays this act of courage while saying this is easy and showing a freestanding handstand better and with more confidence. Situations like these can be very disheartening because we rate self-confidence higher than having the courage to fail. We hide in our comfort zone, lock away our fears and play it safe. But the problem with that is that we underestimate our potential. We only learn and grow marginally or when external events or situation force a new environment upon us where we have no other choice to adapt and grow no matter how scared we are. But if we want to reach goals and grow continuously as a person, we need a willingness to face challenges. And that means we need to confront our fears. But the question is, how can we do that? I can tell you how I do it and how I do it repeatedly. And by now you should probably guess that it has something to do with me taking cold showers. Duh. But let me explain. You see, courage is a decision and not a state. In order to be courageous, we need an opportunity to show it. There can be no courage without inner resistance, fear, and an easy alternate route. The word decision comes from the Latin word decidere and means to cut off other options. And by taking a cold shower, I put myself willingly into a situation where I need to step into my fear. I need to decide to confront my fear. Well, the easy route is to turn the handle to hot. There's always the option to do that. I don't love cold showers. I hate them. But I choose to step into the cold because I want to train myself to be courageous. To me, the cold shower is a proxy for overcoming fear for 3 reasons. 1, I need to shower anyway, so it's already an established habit and I always need to do it again. I can't just stop to shower. 2, there's an easy and comfortable alternative to turn the handle to hot, so I need to choose to do it. No one is forcing me. The cold water effect on my nervous system always remains the same, no matter how adapted I am to the cold. Therefore, there will always be a mental component to overcome my fear and resistance, no matter how often I do it. Especially when I shower right after waking up, when I still feel the warmth and comfort of my bed. When I do my cold shower first thing in the morning, I prime myself to face challenges more relaxed and actively pursue things that may scare me but drive me closer to where I want to be. All too often we procrastinate by doing random tasks that don't move the needle but feel like we're in motion just to avoid confronting our fears. But by facing the cold, I realized seeing the demon in the eye meant seeing into a mirror. It always reminded me of the Bene Gesserit's Litany Against Fear from Dune by Frank Herbert.
Is the little death that brings obliteration.
I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there's nothing. Only I remain.
Enough.
Fear is a raw and unpleasant emotion, and from an evolutionary perspective, it makes a lot of sense to have it for survival. But if we let fear control us, we let others and external events control us. We are not really free if fear controls our destiny. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So by taking daily cold showers and occasional ice baths, I accustom myself to take action when facing fear or mental resistance. But how do I make the jump from cold showers to other areas of my life? What I like to do is to describe very precisely what I'm afraid of when facing a difficult or life-changing decision. Instead of just talking about random theories, why don't I walk through how my wife and I decided to sell everything we owned, quit our jobs to hike 7,000 kilometers on different long distance trails. So what were some fears that we had? We could land on the street and have no money, no home, and no jobs. Another fear was we would end our careers and have to start all over. Or we would mess up our CV. And we would regret selling all our beloved things and end up miserable for the rest of our lives. And the next step was to think on how to prevent some of those fears that we had. We could always ask friends and family members if we could crash their homes when we returned and had no home. And we also simulated this scenario by moving out before our journey started and lived with my sister in a tiny flat for 2 months. And it worked out well, so that gave us some confidence. And regarding money, we listed all our income opportunities that we could think of for making money fast. As both of us financed our college without going into debt through different part-time jobs, we already had some experience in finding creative ways to earn money. We also had some savings to fall back on if everything turned against us. And we also sold or gifted some of our most precious things to friends or family members, so we knew that they were in good hands. Then we listed and calculated what it would take to restore everything like it was before. And we were surprised to see that we could go back to normal in less than a year. Lastly, we listed all consequences if we decided against going on our journey. So some of the consequences would have been, if we postponed this journey, it would have been more difficult in the future because we would be even more established in our career, have more stuff and a bigger family. We would miss out on a lifelong adventure that we always wanted to have. We would never know how it would feel like owning only what we could carry on our back, traveling by foot for months and living a truly nomadic and minimalistic life. This process that Tim Ferriss calls fear setting helped me tremendously with many difficult decisions to define this big blob of undefined fears into digestible and controllable chunks that could be dealt with. And by the way, it's also a valid method to check if you are about to make a reckless decision. So I hope I could give you some inspiration and help in dealing with your own fears and cultivating courage in life. And as a reminder, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you, and your courage cultivation doesn't need to be taking cold showers. You could do other things that scare you and drive you out of your comfort zone. But please remember that you should never think little of an act of courage, no matter how easy it may seem for others. And if you have inspirational stories on how little acts of courage changed your life, or on other ways to deal with your fears, please share them in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.